Just to give a bit of a background for those who may have seen my social media and you just kind of like, what's going on? I have to, start off saying this. Literally, I've dealt with, I didn't even know that this type of corruption was happening coming out of the Cece Winans camp, but a lot of bribery and corruption that I'm going to talk about in detail that even plays into our legal system. And I'm going to talk about that as well. And unfortunately, I also have to say that my rights as an American citizen have been threatened to even testify, to give my testimony, and to pronounce my faith in this way, and to take a stand for my faith, and to take a stand against abuse and harassment. I have been advised by those who understand the law better than myself that you're going to be in contempt of court, and I'm going to talk about that as well for doing this. And then on top of it, you could be fined huge sanctions by the judge who could very well hold you in contempt. And contempt motions have been filed against me. And I'm going to talk about that in just a few moments. But just to give a bit of an update, this is the sexual harassment civil lawsuit that I filed against Cece Winans, Priscilla Turner, and Jasmine Ray Love that started during my 6+ years membership at Nashville Life Church. And I would not be filing and continuing this process if it had stopped. And I haven't been a member there since 2023. I served faithfully on the media and production department team. I treated it like it was a full-time job, volunteering on a regular basis. And unfortunately, the way that they, showed their gratitude was through harassment and monitoring. And now I have to deal with this with the lawsuit because it has not stopped. But the harassment started during my 6+ years. And I have notes here because I want to be sure that I get through this and it's not going to be a long video. The harassment started during my 6+ years as a member and a volunteer in the media and production department at Nashville Life Church. I learned during my latter days after leaving the church that my personal devices and my private home and vehicle, they were being monitored by church administration. They gave indication of this through conversations where literally I hadn't talked about anything that was on my device as far as with certain aspects of things that I was journaling and things that, I was having devotions about, personal things, even, prophetic dreams. And they would come up with a particular mentor at the church. And it's just like, I never talked to you about that. And when I gave evidence via conversationally that I never brought that up to you, they then tried to change the subject. And when you're a member of a church and you want to believe the best of your spiritual leadership, you try and put that on the back burner and think, no, that can't be what it is. But the monitoring, the harassment got worse to the point of me eventually, of course, leaving. And the monitoring and harassment continued even after I left the church as a member and then ended up accepting another job in another state and moved to a different state. It still continued. And I also found out about corruption on multiple levels. And I was told by someone who I was speaking with about the corruption that I have been dealing with in pursuing justice and getting this abuse and harassment to stop. I specifically spoke to them, and this person let me know that I can probably expect the ongoing corruption that I'm dealing with when it comes to things coming out of the Cece Winans camp in dealing with this lawsuit to possibly continue, especially if the lawsuit goes to the deposition process. That's where you have to sit down and answer questions under oath in preparation for a hearing or trial for the lawsuit. And there seems to be some bribery and corruption happening in different areas. And somebody was telling me it doesn't surprise them that she and her people are acting this way if you've seen signs of that. And expect that in the deposition. So everything that you are about to say in your video, or what you're about to, give testimony to in the midst of what you're enduring through your abuse and harassment, keep in mind that more than likely, if the bribery has already started, that camp will probably bribe their way out of telling the truth during the deposition of the things that they are abusing and harassing you for, because you know the truth.